Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back. So, there's been talk around the manosphere that perhaps we can imagine a world without women. And on the women's side, they've done the same. They said, well, what if there was a world without men? Things would be rather different, that's for sure. But I think the real culprit here is the government, right? So what if we were to imagine a situation where the government simply did not exist, where their power was negligent enough that they could not interfere in the affairs of men and women. Now, you see, with the government absent, the relationship between men and women will be one of negotiation, right? Negotiation. It will be relationships based on the free market, right? The women will, assumingly, right, not all go for the 20% of men that every other woman goes for, because they won't be brainwashed into believing that they will only enjoy dating taller men, among other things. So we have a situation, or we will have a situation, theoretically, in which there'll be free choice, right? And there will be once again, without, I'm assuming once again, without government interference, a totally liberated sexual marketplace. So this could be quite interesting, right? We will have all kinds of results. All kinds of different relationships will result from this. We would have interracial relationships, interracial marriages. We would have, of course, the LGBTQ people will have their say as well. It would definitely be a system in which freedom will reign supreme, simply because the government will not be involved as a way to take in their cut, right? Their financial cut, that is. So there'll be no incentive, or rather, the conditions for government will not exist. Therefore, the incentive for them to take people's money, right, through the divorce courts will not be there. So why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing it up because I'm thinking that with the government gone, right? If the government was gone, then the only thing we would have to go up against in the MGTOW community, right, would be the cultural aspect of relationships and what's taking place, right? We would have to go up against Gyno-Centrism all by itself. We won't have the government to fight as well. What we're fighting here, we're fighting a twin set of enemies. We're fighting the government as well as ourselves. We are fighting ourselves. We're fighting our own gynocentric tendencies. But if the government is gone, right, this two-headed monster simply vanishes, and then we're only looking at ourselves, right? And once we have that situation, right, where we only have to content with what it is that we desire, right, we'll be left just to just looking at ourselves in the mirror, right? We'll be like, okay, we know we're battling ourselves. We know we're battling gynocentrism. Can we change this culturally, right? Can we collectively change this condition so that the relationship between men and women is not a one-sided thing, right? So that men are not at a disadvantage when it comes to dealing with members of the opposite sex. And so it's an interesting question, I believe. Can it be done, right? Can it be done, or is gynocentrism here to stay, right? Is gynocentrism here entrenched in, within us forever, right? To the point where we won't be able to change the current socio-economic situation, right? Again, with the government out of the question, will women have the same amount of power and say in relationships, right? And with MGTOW going worldwide, as it has done so for quite some time now, are we going to be able to find out the truth of the matter, right? It's quite interesting. I find this question to be it could be very complex to answer it for ourselves as well as for others, but we'd have to find out what it is that that takes place over the years, and kind of go with that, right? We can't just assume that I mean, we can theorize all we want, but we can't just we cannot know for sure the truth, right? What the truth is until some time has gone by, and right now, like I said, we're fighting two monsters here. Or a two-headed monster. We're fighting gynocentrism, and we're fighting the government. And so a lot of leadway has been made in the cultural side of the battle here, whereas the battlefield of ideas between about the relationship between men and women was the domain of feminists, right? It was the feminists that had a say in what was taking place, right? They said, well, men are oppressive, and that was their their slogan, right? Their motto for nearly 100 years. But that's no longer, it's no longer the case where they're the only ones pretty much, putting out their views out there. Now there's an alternative view, right? Or rather there's a series of alternative views about what, how men and women interact. And so I'm just thinking, with the government out of the question, right? With the government out of the picture, rather, with the government out of the picture, and us, making leeway into the cultural edifice that's being constructed, right? By these feminists, right? We're basically dismantling the whole feminist ideology, right? The whole the foundation of the feminist ideology is being dismantled right before our very eyes, right? So the question remains: how long is government going to be involved after the cultural manifestation of this gynocentric ideology known as feminism is gone, right? How long will government stick around, interfering in the affairs of men and women after people have finally woken up and said, well, wait a minute, we no longer view this whole shebang bang the way we used to, right? So the cultural, what I'm saying here is that the culture is changing before our very eyes. but the government is lagging behind because they have a vested interest in doing so. So the true question here is, how long would this last, right? How long will this take place? Or will this continue to take place? And you know, I don't have a definite answer. I don't think anyone does right now, especially since, like I said, you know, it's very possible that that we may not be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and battle the greatest enemy within, right? The gynocentric man. So, you know, if you're able to follow what I'm saying, I thank you for, you know, for listening, and let me know what you think. You know, comment. It kind of helps me keep going, you know, and thinking about these things. It's been a pleasure sharing these ideas with you guys. I'll catch you in the next video.